Why Do Programmers Hate LinkedIn by Lucilla Tomassi. Let's see what Lucilla has to say. So, programmers either love or hate LinkedIn. There's a strong emotion attached to it. So let's see. LinkedIn, designed to create professional connections and job opportunities, is not loved by developers. But why? LinkedIn, the social network designed to create professional connections and job opportunities, is often criticized by developers. LinkedIn, the well-known professional social networking site, is a platform that divides the opinions of many professionals, especially in the programmer category. Some embrace it as a networking and career opportunity tool, while others see it as an annoying cluster of spam, self-glorification, and digital distractions. You don't say. In this article, we will explore the reasons why some programmers may dislike LinkedIn, trying to shed light on the phenomenon of why programmers hate LinkedIn. All right. Let's see if you can figure out if I am either in the love or hate camp or in the middle by the time we get done with this article. Why LinkedIn is not working for developers. LinkedIn needs a little introduction. Founded in 2002, acquired by Microsoft in 2016, LinkedIn is currently one of the main professional social networking platforms in the world, with over 775 million users worldwide. Really? It's that big? Is it just like unique users, people with multiple accounts? I don't think you're allowed to have a separate account or like a second account. I don't know. That's more than I expected. I wonder how many are active. The platform itself is designed to allow professionals to connect, share information about their careers, and establish professional contacts. However, the reality that many programmers experience on LinkedIn is very different from this initial vision. The social network is primarily used to establish professional connections. In fact, many people use LinkedIn to look for job opportunities, to present their qualifications to potential employers. All right, so a little piece of advice. LinkedIn jobs, at least in the developer world, is notorious for companies not properly applying the filter of whether those jobs are entry level or they require like actual professional experience. It's annoying to navigate those jobs, and you're going to find that there are a lot of jobs that you're just going through that just aren't actually entry level. LinkedIn is one of the worst platforms for that to happen. So I think you should use it to look for job opportunities, but just expect to spend a little bit longer to filter out opportunities that, aren't really entry level. The social network is primarily used to establish professional connections. Many people use it for jobs. This is why so many companies post job ads on the platform, and there are just as many, if not more, users who decide to apply directly via LinkedIn. But then why is it so often seen with sufficiency, is that the word? And often even with annoyance? Did the author choose the right word there? The war for tech talent is surely one of the reasons, but not the only one. What? Why? The invasion of spam. After understanding what the social network really is and its intent in the web panorama, we now start examining the sore points that act as a deterrent for devs and professionals. One of the major causes of frustration among programmers on LinkedIn is a high number of unwanted messages. Instagram trumps this all day long. I get way more spam on Instagram than I do LinkedIn. But I also get quality leads for my mentorship program on Instagram as well. I also get it on LinkedIn. But I get a lot more spam on Instagram. Receiving connection requests from strangers followed by aggressive sales messages is a common experience for anyone that creates a profile and shares a working experience on software development. Programmers often receive connection requests from people they don't know and who then follow up with aggressive sales messages, as well as unclear job offers. This phenomenon is so widespread that according to a study conducted by the email management company Superhuman in 2020, about 35% of LinkedIn connection requests were followed by sales messages. What? That number seems really high. So you know what? I get a lot of connection requests because I create content, and those connection requests are legitimate. I get a few sales pitches and I just block them. Maybe my results are skewed because I create content, Maybe people are actually experiencing this many connection requests that are just spam, which that does suck. Yeah, that does really suck. I think, so most people that send me a connection request, they don't put a note. I think more people need to start putting notes in the connection requests. Like, who the fuck are you? I'd say like 99% of people don't do that for me. Even though they're fans of the channel, they still don't even do that. So, like, I'll filter some out and just ignore them. But yeah, man, 35% is high. Irrelevant content. Another sore point is the algorithm that is not yet optimized at its best. In fact, it is not rare to come across series of contents not strictly related to the professional world or to one's own interests. That is true. I don't think so. I think the filter right now is defaulted at best. And I think there's a big influence if you interact with someone on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is much more likely to show their post to you. And it seems like it doesn't discriminate based on the category, the just whatever the post is, the type of post, whether it's like political, whether it's dev related, stuff like that. I find that when you engage with people, which is also a strategy that you can implement when you are trying to grow on LinkedIn, build connections, create content, engage with content, which you should be doing. But I feel like you could just interact with like one person, and then that person's top post is just stuck in your feed for like a week straight. And that is annoying. And many times I'm just like, unfollow this person, because I'm like, how do I clear this from my feed? I could select like, I don't want to see this content, or I don't want to see this content from this creator. I feel like the best recommendation needs to be not randomized a little bit more, but it needs to be cycled through, because you're just seeing the same content over and over and over if you engage with just a single person once. So that's frustrating. You don't really have an option to, it's kind of like YouTube algorithm. Like if you just go to your homepage, you don't really have an option to filter based on category, the type of content that you want to see. So when you don't have as good of an algorithm as YouTube, that could be frustrating, right? So I think more options would be very beneficial. I don't think we're going to see that with LinkedIn anytime soon. Cute kitten videos and humorous memes can be intrusive for those looking for content relevant to their field of work. The lack of effective moderation can make LinkedIn look more like Facebook than a professional network. Yeah, I don't... So here's the thing with LinkedIn. I get the frustration with the feed. I truly get the frustration with the feed. Stop going off of your home feed. When you load up LinkedIn right away, stop looking at that home feed. Just don't, like, if you are getting a lot of spam, a lot of just irrelevant content, you're an aspiring developer, you just want to engage with other developer content, right? And build connections and get your post to pop up in other people's feeds because you're interacting with these people. Stop going off the homepage. Go to group discussion on LinkedIn. Join specific groups within LinkedIn and go to the group discussion. Do it that way. Engage that way. It's a frustrating experience, but a second thing that you can do is you can start unfollowing people that post mostly like non-dev content. You could still have a connection request with them, but I believe you can unfollow them. And then you don't see their content anymore. You might be able to select an option like, I don't want to see this type of content. I don't know if LinkedIn has that. I'd have to double check. But you need to start curating your feed. And that can be a lengthy process when you keep adding more and more connections, which more and more quality connections with the people that you want to connect with. Other developers, people in the industry, if that you're trying to become a developer, that's a really good thing. But yeah, you got to put extra time into curating your feed, and that's a very frustrating thing. I gave up on it, right? I have too many connections. I just gave up on it. I don't even look at my feed anymore. I'll probably download an extension just to like remove the feed if I can. But I get it. So go to specific developer groups, engage with that developer content, or engage with a lot of other developers talking about a lot of developer content. You're going to find more developer posts popping up in your feed. You have to put extra effort into curating that feed. Most people don't want to. Most people don't have a lot of time to do it, right? So I get the frustration, but that's what you got to do. Excessive self-promotion. Oh boy, yep. Another issue that irritates some devs is the continuous and often nagging presence of posts aimed at self-promotion. Some users indeed seem to be involved in a constant competition to show how extraordinary they are, posting every professional success, even the most irrelevant, and a few hours apart from each other. This attitude can be annoying for those who prefer a more modest approach to the profession. Again, I mean, I put some effort into curating my feed where I barely see this. I don't see a lot of... No, I do. That's false. I do. It's virtue signaling. Well, it's basically... It's self-promotion disguised as virtue signaling, which isn't even a good way to disguise it and try to hide it. And it's effective on LinkedIn. In telling a story, invoking emotion in a LinkedIn post gets people to read it. And fucking separating every single sentence into, like, you'll have like a sentence, a line break, a sentence, a line break, a sentence, a line break, and like you basically have read nothing, and then you see a promotion at the bottom. There is a lot of self-promotion, and that is frustrating. But again, if you have a creator that does that a lot, just unfollow. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just unfollow that person. And I know it's an extra step that you need to do, but I promise you, like, you know, once you get to thousands of connections, it's really hard to manage your feed. But, you know, when you have like less than 500 connections, just start unfollowing people that just keep posting this stuff. In a survey, let's see. In a survey conducted by JobVite in 2019, 33% of the tech industry professionals said that excessive self-promotion is what annoys them the most on LinkedIn. Okay, that's fair. LinkedIn's a really strong platform to build a self-brand. It's a really strong platform to sell services. I don't know about products, but definitely services, definitely like mentorship services. I probably should do it more, to be honest. I'm just a terrible salesman. So, like, I should be on the other side of the fence where I'm like, you know what? Like, you guys just don't see this side of it. If you own a business, like, you got to do this thing. I should be on that side if I was a successful business person. I'm not. I'm on this side. I'm with you. I find it very annoying. It's why I don't do it. So I get it. The lack of technical debt. LinkedIn, being a platform for networking and personal promotion, can have strong shortcomings in terms of in-depth technical discussions. For programmers looking for specific technical resources and discussions, it can be difficult to find significant value on LinkedIn. In support of this, there's a survey conducted by Stack Overflow in 2020 that revealed how only 12% of devs use LinkedIn as a main source of technical information. Yeah. That's fair. Job offers are not always clear. Another source. Okay, we'll stop there. That is true. I don't think there's a lot of depth of technical knowledge. Even Twitter, as petty as Twitter can be, there's still a lot of technical knowledge. There's a lot of like dunking on each other as developers on Twitter. It's just like, I don't think you can really gain a lot from Twitter. I think like more in-depth YouTube videos and even Twitch streams that are doing tutorials on live coding are going to be more helpful for newer developers. But yeah, I don't... LinkedIn really doesn't have a lot of good technical discussion unless you are in specific groups that have moderation policies that make sure the conversation stays... it keeps that momentum up with the topic, and it stays on topic. You need to find these groups on LinkedIn. You're going to find much higher quality conversation when you engage with these groups. Developer groups like React groups, JavaScript groups, stuff like that. Whatever you're trying to study, whatever you're trying to learn, engage with those groups. Because the conversation in which is being described here is going to be vastly different on your feed, in comments, through posts on your feed versus group discussion. Job offers are not always clear. Another sore point is the presence of job offers that are not at all explanatory. Often pieces are missing or there are tactical omissions on the part of companies. In fact, it is not rare to see job advertisements without gross annual remuneration. Yes. Or with what the hell is that word? Or with the annoying and irritating phase of gross commensurate with experience. A rather absurd statement since most companies have or should have at least a clear idea of how much they tend to invest on each single resource. There are also job proposals in which there is only listed an innumerable number of skills, certificates, and experiences required without then making it clear to the potential candidate what his actual job will consist of. Who gives a fuck? This is irrelevant. Okay, so when I say you should be looking at job boards, and you should be looking specifically at the LinkedIn job board, like who gives a fuck what the listing is? Just load it up on the side, right? Okay, this company's hiring kind of sounds like what I'm going for. Let's actually pull up the job posting on the actual company website. You should be doing quick LinkedIn applies. That's fucking lazy. And you don't stand out at all. Like hundreds of other people are doing that as well. It's the people that go out of their way to apply directly on the company, which will sometimes have extra questions, sometimes force you to like come up with a cover letter. And like it's one of the reasons I got hired is because I was applying outside of this. And they just asked me more questions. They had their own job form that asked me a lot more questions that allowed them to get to know me and allowed me to link my Twitch live coding stream, which they watched and then called. There's a lot more that you should be doing than just these quick, easy applies. I would argue like you're almost locking yourself into just being forgettable when you do the quick applies. Like this is irrelevant. Like you could probably pick up enough to then go to the company website and then apply if that interests you. I feel like this entire section is irrelevant because people just tackle this in the wrong way. They tackle the job search on LinkedIn in the wrong way. So use the job board to give you exposure to what jobs are out there and then go directly to the company website, see if it's for you, do a little company research, apply, and go that direction. There are also job proposals within which there is only listed. Oh, I already read that. Okay, so I saw a job post the other day. It required 4+ years of experience. Fast API, I couldn't apply as I only have 1.5 years of experience since I created that thing. Like these are just like that's fine. I guess it's kind of funny. You're dunking on it, but like the problem is you get so many developers instead of like actually marketing yourself well, instead of building your self branding as a developer well, you're just latching on to these little dunks that are targeted towards like specific applications that don't really apply to the entire industry or the entire job board, right? It makes you feel good because you fucking suck at the job search. Like these kind of posts make you feel good. They make you feel like it's not you. You're not the reason you're not getting a job, right? You can push a little bit of ownership because holy shit, all these companies are asking for 4 or 5+ years for entry-level experience. Like, you just suck at the job search. That's the reality. I see posts like, man, 1,000 job applications. I had like 50 interviews. I still haven't got the job yet. I still haven't gotten a single dev job yet. Yo, like, why did you get 50 interviews and fuck up every single one of them? Like, where is the ownership of you maybe being responsible for not getting that job? Where is the ownership of you going through 1,000 applications and getting no interviews? Is there a certain point where you think, I could be doing this better. I could be doing something different. What am I fucking up? So these little dunks, they can kind of be a little fun, give you a little boost, but be careful how much time you spend engaging with this, because I see a lot of people let this affect their mentality and they start pushing that ownership, because all of you are fucking up. Everyone fucks up the job search. No one is perfect at it. It takes me a little bit, or it took me a little bit to get a job, and I had to constantly work on how I applied myself with the job search. And like, if I was trying to become an entry-level developer now, man, I would point out like dozens of things that I fucked up with, and I still got that job, 7 years ago, right? And it's gotten much harder, so I need to be much more critical about what I'm doing, every step that I'm doing. So the problem with these types of posts is I just see people pushing that ownership. It's on the market. I put in 1,000 applications. It's the market. It's not me. My skills are good. My portfolio is good. I had this one software engineer that said, I would hire you if I could, I was the hiring manager. Like, you're fucking up. Be careful about how much time and energy you spend engaging with this kind of content, because it's not helping you. It's just hurting you. Be very careful about that. Managing connections. For some developers, managing connections on LinkedIn can become a burdensome task. Indeed, it's not at all taken for granted to be able to maintain a large-scale professional network, and ensuring that this is fruitful and useful can involve a myriad of notifications, updates, connection requests to manage, creating a sense of overwhelm. No. Most developers aren't getting any connections. I don't think... most developers, most aspiring developers are under 500 connections. I don't think it is overwhelming for a lot of aspiring developers to get those connections. I think it's very welcoming, and a lot of people are accepting those connections. Is this a thing? I don't see this being a thing. Conclusions, positives. All right, I'm going to give my own gripe about LinkedIn after this, because I don't think she mentioned it, but yeah, let's just read this and I'll give my own gripe. Despite the criticisms, it's important to recognize that LinkedIn also has numerous advantages. Many devs successfully use it to expand their professional network, seek new job opportunities, and share their knowledge with other industry experts. Ultimately, the relationship between developers and LinkedIn is complex. While some find value in the platform for networking and professional advancement, others see it as a digital annoyance. The key is to find a personal balance and use LinkedIn strategically to achieve professional goals. So yes, LinkedIn can be a useful resource for programmers if used intelligently, but it's important to be aware of its negative aspects and possible solutions to mitigate them. The real secret to a more harmonious relationship with LinkedIn lies in finding a balance between professional networking and managing digital distractions. But if LinkedIn is not... just advertisement. Yeah, no, I'm good. So anyways, here's my gripe with LinkedIn. She was right. LinkedIn doesn't have a lot of in-depth technical discussion. It has a lot of self-grandizing. Is that the word? It has a lot of you're just lifting yourself up. It's like, it has a lot of narcissistic posts that, I've showed this clip. I've showed a couple clips of LinkedIn of just really obnoxious videos of people that will kind of put their animals in the well, and then they'll videotape that dog or that cat being rescued, pulled up, and they try to turn it into poetry. They try to turn it into something insightful, and it just comes off as so fake and cringe. LinkedIn comes off as fake. It's so fake because everyone has to... It's almost worse than Instagram in that sense. Everyone has to just show how virtuous, how kind, how good-hearted they are, how selfless they are, right? If you have to say these things in multiple posts over and over and over, you are not these things. You convince other people that you are these things by doing these things, not talking about it, not creating virtue signaling posts that for the 10th time in the same day, just rephrased a little bit differently. And it's obvious you're just regurgitating the same virtue signaling bullshit. That's what developers hate about LinkedIn. Developers hate bullshit. We're logical. Fuck this virtue signaling bullshit. That's why people hate LinkedIn. And if you want to get past that, you have to curate your feed. If you want to actually find meaningful discussion on LinkedIn, you need to get involved in groups. You need to form the right connections. You need to engage with the right people. It takes effort. But what happens is you could take advantage of the algorithm by engaging with the right people, and then when they like a post, it can be boosted in their feed. Other people within their network will see it. And then you get other people that are like, I like that, this person created a post that my first connection actually engaged with. I'm going to go ahead and connect with this person because I think I can relate to them and I like their content that they're creating. Or if you engage on posts and you'll have other people that will also comment, that will look at the post, that if you created something of value in that comment, you'll get connection requests. Right? It's about creating value and creating meaningful connection. And what you're going to realize, there are so many people that are... This article is right. There are so many developers that hate LinkedIn that when you create meaningful engagement with other developers, it's like a breath of fresh air. LinkedIn is the best professional platform. I would even argue it's way better than Twitter for aspiring developers to build meaningful connections and get noticed by employers and recruiters. And people are sleeping on this because they don't like the feed. And I think it's a mistake. I think you should truly consider trying to engage in LinkedIn with some of the strategies that I mentioned. I think you're going to find it to feel like a different platform, and it's okay to remove connections. I think you're going to like it more.